Hello and welcome to another video from the most legendary content creator of them all, Wooden Leg Woodworking. In this video I make some vases. Enjoy. I started off using some rough cut lumber that I found in someone's old basement to glue into a solid block. And because it was rough cut lumber, I wasn't really sure what I was getting into. So what I did first was use my hand planer to remove the saw marks and reveal the true nature of the grain underneath. This hand planer was one of the first tools I ever purchased, near the beginning of 2020 if I'm not mistaken. And I distinctly remember agonizing over whether to buy this one for $43, a slightly smaller version for $35, or to go all out and spend an entire $54 on a slightly larger one. How silly I was. That was back when I actually had a grasp on what money was. Now when I actually cut this wood up, I found it had a bunch of little holes inside it, presumably from termites or maybe from the newts. Regardless of how they were made, I had to find a different piece of lumber. That was quickly arranged and I was back on track and ready to glue it up into a block, after running it through the planer. I believe that the reddish wood is some aged cherry, but that is just my best guess, and the lighter wood is what I call maple. But some of the bland green and yellow makes me think that poplar could still be an option. However, poplar is usually a very soft wood, and there wasn't anything particularly soft about this wood at all. This week, in my seemingly never-ending quest for a perfect glue spreader, I tried using a hammer. And this one was up there with the ping pong ball, the rake, and the wrench. It took some getting used to and was rather heavy, but it spread glue in a very adequate fashion. I was watching some of my own videos the other day, and I got kind of annoyed with how it was just my voice talking the entire time. So I think I'm going to try to implement some music from here on out. That was great! Now that that's out of the way, enjoy watching me throw some clamps all over the place.
Hit the lawnmower. I'm really close.
With the wood now glued into a solid chunk, I trimmed it up and squared it over at the table saw. This wasn't an entirely necessary step, as the material would be removed later on anyway over at the lathe, but it would be helpful to have a perfectly square piece when trying to find the center, and I really couldn't resist an opportunity to risk the existence of my fingers in order to stir up the wrath of internet trolls. I then cut the block up into reasonable blanks, found the center of them, and drilled a hole in the center of one side. Time for some more music. If you're wondering what this newfound passion for adding music to my videos is, here's a quote from Plato. "Music gives a soul to the universe, wings to the mind, flight to the imagination, and life to everything." I used a bit of spray polyurethane in these holes to make sure that they were sealed up so that they could maybe hold water, and I ended up coming back and sealing them with a different substance after I finished creating this video. So I think they should be able to hold water. More music. Now, if you are an avid follower of all my influencing platforms, you may know that I have a fairly unique lathe. It only spins at between 7,000 and 6,000 rounds per minute, no slower. This is more than double the recommended speed for turning a piece 3 inches in diameter. That being said, when I turned this thing on, it was like being thrown into a hurricane. The lathe was working really hard and sounded like it was about to blow up, and the thing was spinning with such power it felt like getting a leaf blower right to the face from about a meter away. It was wild. It felt like the sort of thing that could very well end up being a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Undaunted, I put my Bluetooth hearing protection on to block out some of the monstrous noise and proceeded to chisel away at it. I had sort of forgotten how much fun it was to turn something other than pens, and I had a glorious old time shaping this vase. Enjoy! fair to point out that I know very little about wood turning, so probably do not do what I do. My extreme lack of wood turning knowledge is showcased when I tried to apply a finish. I tried to put a finish on just like I would do a pen, but none of the finish was actually getting on a vase.
Wow, that was hot.
So I had to try multiple other techniques before I finally landed on something that worked. I rubbed in the finish with the lathe off, and then I turned on the lathe to buff out the finish to give it a bit of a shine. I then could move the tailstock back to sand and finish what would be the top of the vase. With the vase basically done at this point, I could use a parting tool to make the piece that was still holding it on very small. And then from there, I used a Japanese pool saw to cut the rest of it off. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Feel free to do all the various things. Until next time, go throw some leaves.
Father! Ow! No more! Oh! This is not going well. No more! Ah, why does the music turn off like that? What a bother! Oh, there it is.